Welcome, welcome to my lovely IHP community and the 5D Collective. If you did not tune in to our previous episodes, don't worry. I'm going to read a couple of things that we had from that. And if you did tune in, you're going to hear a couple of repeat things. But in the meantime, our lovely 5D Collective, just a reminder, we are those who have the mind, integrated brain, and the body in our restorative embodiment, and the self is a whole self, so you own that self, which is why we are part of the enlightening, empowering, and more than just that community, the lovers. We have the capacity to consistently love as those who do not use our thoughts and our emotions in a suffering way. Okay, the people who suffer, they will be those who we call liars, but we will not be letting them know that their whole is something that we have spotted, because like Cusco lies to Pacha, so do all of those who are not their healed whole self. Okay, and so with that, while I know that I am my whole tree and my whole middle pillar, and then I don't have too much of that which is rigidity, and I don't have too much of that which can be considered mercy, so I'm not a immature, emotionally speaking person. Okay, I know that for me, suffering is not a part of my spiritual growth journey as I became a mystic. You all know this, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so I let go because I have an open heart, and I shine because Jesus died for my sins and suffered. I don't. I actually rejoice from my heart with the Holy Spirit, and know that ancient people think of those of us of today as not Christian Catholics or of our religion. Instead, we all know, those of us of faith, that we have a right to do whatever we want with spirituality. They don't own God, and they don't own Akash. They don't own Source, and there's no Lucifer. Because the low frequency sinners are all people who need a therapist, and when they spread rumors that yoga brings demons out of you, well, that's their thing. So we make our dreams come true because we have trust in the great mystery, because we have intelligence and well-being in the forefront. Okay, so we're not the hypocrites that say we want a relationship and then treat ourselves, meaning our bodies and our minds, with the inner critic, outer critic, drugging, drinking, fucking, and then the Cusco, liar, liar, pants on fire. When I talked to this friend of mine, he's a functioning alcoholic. Obviously, we can't tell him that, because really, therapists have told me there's no point. If they don't want to do it, they won't do it. The therapy, same thing goes with coke addicts and anybody who has maladaptive patterns. It's not Lucifer, it's really healable. They just don't want to hear about it. And the empowered people know, again, they will make up bullshit. So this friend of mine, I don't lie to people that are my friends. And as we're talking, and they're saying, you know, I'm not this, I'm not that, and I forget. I say, yeah, but you do drink a little bit, a lot, you know, like, but I'm doing my family a favor. I said, doing what? Cirrhosis of the liver? Because you do realize that's actually something. No, ha 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 ha. I'm like, if you end up in the hospital, you're not really doing your family a favor. I'm just saying, you can moderate this stuff. You're not moderating it. Okay, so a liar, liar, pants on fire is going to do this. But somebody's saying they're enabling. That's bullshit too. Nobody enables anything. We all do the best we can to share love. If a person wants to pretend that they know what they're doing, they're going to do it. And actually, to a T, those who suffer life are together ignoring the lovely good therapists that will help them to get out of all of it. Dr. Daniel Fox presents a very simple equation. You continue therapy until you're ready to not have to do it anymore, but you also have a healthy self-worth group of people who don't cast stones on you. So he shares how maladaptive patterns are actually things that can come up. And he's an expert in borderline personality, narcissism, and I believe also psychopathy, and all are healable and helpable if they choose to do that healing. And that's beautiful to see Kylie. She's in remission borderline personality, and she is actively healing her narcissism, and she's on a roll with her boyfriend. So that's somebody I look at proudly. And then I also know of, again, Patrick Tan, who helps others to heal their childhood trauma. So lovers know who are the fakos, and then we also know who are the real ones. And the real ones are the ones who get to bring forth that kingdom of God that is within us. And they might not think of Christian Catholicism or Christ, but I will know that that is where Jesus shared the kingdom of God is within us. What we can bring forth from within us will save us. And then with those who have seaweed inside, well, they don't have integrity. So we do know the 5D collective, I do for sure, that what other people say about me doesn't matter. It is that I will not be ashamed of what I have done. And when I meet pseudo-intellectuals and the people who follow the pseudo-intellectuals and they believe in them and they support that it is dangerous to have no emotions, that it is inherently not true, that it is enlightening or healthy to be non-reactive, and that the modern day therapists are trying to imprison you, or some who will say, I'm going to make a bunch of FBI, CIA questions, punishing ones, so that you can make sure nobody fucks with you ever again. So those people, yes, I'm not fond of people who are ignorant, like spreading rumors about yoga bringing demons out of you or that Reiki's bad energy. And so again, while the ignorant human beings will follow people and make it seem like it's my fault that we have flat earthers, now I'm going to let you know it's nobody's fault, because shame, blame, fault, and revenge are all for insecure people who need Patrick Tan to work with all of their projection and all of their exiles and protectors or Terriel to become actual badasses. So a heart that lives in recognizing itself in one another suffers not life or love and relationships, because your heart is pure like mine. When I meet your child parts and anything that is Cusco, it's not of that heart. It is all very straightforward, not anything more than this, because I don't actually feel your suffering, because I recalibrate my nervous system to my ventral vagal state. I'm a healthy self-worth human being in the physiological state of compassion. All of us are somatic empaths, and as I learned from Dr. Daniel Siegel, when I asked him, I said, hey, Dr. Dan, so I'm a mentor, content creator, and podcast host, and I do self-help and personal development, and I inspire people to tap into their infinite higher human consciousness potential experience. I'm finishing up mindfulness practices and a lot more, life coaching, all these different certificates and courses. I did not mention to him Reiki Master, Akashic Record Reader, Tarot Oracle card, because he's a sciences man. I didn't think I needed to involve him in all of that, which is for him woo-woo and pseudoscience. But I did say somatic empath, because that's a word they use. Also, they have a relational field, so they will know of the experiences that mystics have. So anyways, I share with him, not all of those words, by the way, but the gist of it is that I'm affected by my environment. And he says, Maria, I think you need to differentiate more. It sounds like to me that you're not differentiating enough. So differentiate more, and you will see that that will help. And I differentiated, and it does help, because my nervous system is mine to calibrate to my ventral vagal state. So when you're in a physiological state of compassion, you have no problemo. I don't scan a room, and the room don't scan me. And as I mentioned, my lovely functional alcoholic friend, yes, the first times that I was around this man, he did not look at me. This is the moment of truth. You know, when you've heard people say 5D people aren't seen by 4D, 3D, I knew that was bullshit, because I don't have Harry Potter's cloak. But at the same time, when this thing happened with this human being and then some others, I'm like, okay. And the explanation, let me give you the science explanation. So when you have healthy self-worth people who don't have any attachment wounds that flare up, I'm a securely attached, non-traumatized, empowered woman. I don't suffer life. I don't suffer love. You cannot test an empowered feminine. Anyone can be an empowered feminine. It's because you will have your own nervous system and your own brain. And your 14-month-old, she's yours. So my 0-1-year-old doesn't need to attach to you, because I attach to my own self. Okay, so when you're that and you stare in the eyes of another human being, oh, there it is. Now, if you do that, that's your shit, not my shit. All I know is, there you go. Now, if they want to welcome that part, but that's where they're doing therapy, or they're actually ready to do personal development, spiritual development, and move forward, so we're on a journey together, awesome. Because in that moment, they'll be like, wow, you know, I actually have some stuff coming up, Maria. Let's talk about it. So I have people who have shit coming up. When I presented them their child parts and their nervous system responses and how people will respond to my ventral energy, because they have it, they're like, you know what, you're right. There were a couple of times and more when I had. It's like, yep, that's it. There you go. Those are things that you can work with if you have the psych education, and then if you take yourself seriously and go to therapy. Oh no, but I don't want therapists. I'm managing just fine. Okay, you know, well, I mean, if you ever change your mind, I got a good network of them, because, you know, child parts are important for you to tend to first, reparent, then navigate the nervous system, and then we continue with more if you want to create resiliency, because it's really fun to be in eustress and to know how to stay in your prefrontal cortex and to, again, recalibrate to your own self. So when we're in rooms, we all pick up on each other. Difference is I pick up on everyone without actually being weighed down. And that's why a heart that lives in recognizing itself in one another suffers not in life or love and relationships, because we expand and grow more loving. That's how our lover stories go. Right here, I've grown more loving. And so by not suffering love or having drama stories or stress in the roller coaster rides of the unhealthy self-worth, emotionally immature and unavailable people, we get to continue being the real lovers who, thanks to being mental, emotionally, and physically self-agents who love and who pursue ventral vagal state health, bring forth the best of ourselves and others that are wanting to enjoy their infinite higher human consciousness experience. They don't have to, okay? So the people who will continue to interact are the ones who want well-being, intelligence, and to be their authentic self, okay? So that's why when Sadhguru says it is the ability to bring out the best in others to make anyone a leader, well, I mean, my functional alcoholic friend, he's still a functional alcoholic, so I didn't bring out the best in him, but we had a nice conversation. And we can't make people go and get their health when we have pseudo-intellectuals telling them not to go to therapy and they believe them because fearful brothers and sisters like that avoidant. I saw you were picking on us, and my therapists were telling me to do mindfulness practices and these types of journaling exercises, but it's all bullshit. I mean, we all suffer in life. We're all fucked up. We're all weird. So no. And I'm going to come here and tell you all about how painful life is. That's not amazing. You're another coward. You didn't do what everybody else who's with Patrick Tan, Terry Real, Dr. Daniel Fox, but you didn't do what the brave ones do. You're not working on yourself. Why would I want to be around a person who just quit like that? We don't bring those types of conversations. I'm sharing that with you so we don't have anyone who wants to quit on themselves here, because see, this is the one thing, my teenage boyfriend, remember the story of when I'm telling him I have faith from my bones and he's doing the effective realism thing? Yes, my boyfriend though at the time, what I also knew was he had had a very hurtful moment. His friend killed himself. He turned his back on God like everybody else that at that age I was seeing did the same things my catechist told me they would do. I got to 19 and they were still doing it. I'm 45, they still do it. So when I meet quitters and cowards, I don't do anything because I got taught what quitters and cowards do. It ain't how hard you can get hit. It's how, there's a bullshit statement that by the time you're in your mid-20s, if you haven't figured that out, I'm sorry, but your adolescent brain ain't going to go anywhere. I have an adolescent brain. By the time I'm in my mid-30s, I'm not fucking around because I don't have time to waste, so I don't do drama. So this is the part of where when I stopped venting, it was because I noticed the yucky biochemistry. Anger saturated my hippocampus with cortisol. Mindfully aware people with mindset skills easily do what I'm describing to you because we notice the biochemistry of fears. Yeah. And yeah, we don't do lust, so I don't need to be enticed to put mindfulness into practice because it's exciting. Everyday love is growing more and more within every inch of me, and that's why no one who will not want to be expanding will be around a person such as myself consistently. It is something that makes them disgusted. This is not about protection. This is a very sad story, by the way, because every person has the same ventral energy capacity that I do, but if they don't want to become their healthy self-worth, authentic self, so we get to be ourselves as lovers and self-agents with others because our default mode network, mine, is down-regulated, and so we're not performing or seeking for approval from others or society. And so with a real partner, you are both being your true selves, okay? And I say real because Pinocchio is fake. Our emotions and thoughts are experienced as differentiated selves with enthusiasm. So we're looking to become more embodied in the excitement of life, not with cliche sentences of suffering and hissy fights. We are curious, we're open, and that's to being the person that we choose to be. So that's with integrity and flaws, self-acceptance, but it's through emotional and mental maturity, empowerment, and mastery. So a real badass. Again, not a coward who's not going to tend to their embodied brain. Cowards are all of those who want to tell me that I have one emotion. I won't tell it to them because that's the moment I know that they, one, don't notice, wow, so you don't want me to be happy. Means you don't have compersion. Two, you don't want to be happy because otherwise you wouldn't have told me that I want you to have only one emotion. You would have noticed, am I hooked on drama, stress, and bad habits that actually don't help me to empower myself to the best version that I can be, humanly speaking? Red flag. I don't want to be myself. Wow, I need Patrick Tan and Terry Real right now because otherwise I'm not a badass woman, man, or they. I'm not a badass shit. I'm a coward who will disregard my inner well-being, like that avoidant lady who I don't find fancy. I'm just thinking, wow, picked on you. You're even more hilarious than the colleagues. My colleagues pick on me. They don't have my side. I mean, because at least, no, they're both equally, like, I can't. They're both equally something that God, it's okay, I got it. It's not interesting from a let me pat you on the back. It's I have a fun story to tell you all. I don't do let me pat you. And when someone's like, you're not taking my side, you're taking someone else's side. You're sounding kind of mean right now. And I promised Jesus, God, and Holy Spirit that I would forgive. And I'm not seeing Lucifer. There's a human. Also have an explanation. They're emotionally unavailable. You're not really in a real relationship because they're just hooked on their drugs, meaning the stress. I hope they don't do drugs for their own brain because I know cocaine puts holes in your brains. But what I'm trying to say is you're not really with a person. They're 0-8-year-old. They're living trauma time with you. So you see what I'm saying? Like it's not a real relationship. If they go to therapy, but in the meantime, let's not talk about them. How about we talk about you? Are you going to leave the relationship? Because really, it's not, it's this, what, the third, fourth year? We're going on the fourth. It's the fourth year. I really feel like right now it's a good conversation we're having because it seems that you're getting it. They don't have capacity to love you. And then lo and behold, as Patrick Chan points out, they're still in the relationship. So that's, they make it sound like they're doing amazing. No, they don't. They just make it sound like all men and women are assholes, and that's not true. And therefore, again, we don't suffer relationships because we're lovers, the real ones. And again, we don't perform, and I don't put up with bullshit, and others don't put up with bullshit either. So while emotions and thoughts for me are experienced with a differentiated self, with enthusiasm, and life is full of curiosity, beautiful moments, I have flaws, self-acceptance, a person who doesn't have any of this will become very much under pressure, because they're performing, you see what I'm saying? And they're not wondering, why is life not getting easier from inside of me? So when you do enlighten and expand, it's because you'll choose, yes, I want resiliency in my restorative embodiment. And that's with self-aware, accountable, and regulating practices, and with the healthy self-worth people who are also permanently in the state of love. I bring the human elements to the spiritual and spirituality elements. The subject matter, sciences and spirituality come together. So any person who wants to talk to you about enlightening will be able to do so with a body that has access to the heart, but has also access to that which is the soul. And we do not embody divinity in the very essence of us. I'm a divine being. Because that sounds like I need to make myself into something I'm not. I'm in flesh. I am a person who is part of source and consciousness, and with my brothers and sisters we make the whole, and I get to experience the variety of anima mundi together, and I'm not afraid. Like Home Alone, I'm not afraid anymore. But I'm actually not afraid. I open the door and I look at the man and I'm not afraid of him because I have faith. And I also know dark matter and dark energy hasn't imploded yet, and I'm grounded in reality. Any of Maria's cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable. And I'm in my ventral vagal state thanks to mindfulness practices that I didn't even know I was doing, with the mindset skills that I do still have, and the inner growth mindset that I share with you all. So when you have a functional child adult, that's when you say, yes, I'm an integrated brain and I'm doing more integration. And you also say yes to restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating lifestyle ideas and mindset exercises and all that great stuff. Okay, so we navigate the mental, emotion, physical plane, the mind, the body, the heart, the self, all of it in a state of eustress. Also our personality filters and our nervous system and our security. We work with all of that. Become more flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. It's because we're engaging our social engagement system, and we don't perform in love. We're not a circus act. No, we will flow, grow, and flourish in love. And if we are not expanding consciousness together, that never happens for me. But I do, as I've told you before, have the capacity to understand that there are those who won't want to be in my life. However it is that they will basically let me know that because I say tomato and they say tomato, that we can't be around each other, I will thank them for their time, independently from the manners, because I'm okay with moving the bond to secure connection. I'm also okay with if you don't want to ever see me again, and if you are yelling at me in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to know that you just really don't want me. Now, it's nice if somebody can just straightforwardly say, you know what, I don't want you around me today. And I've told one of my friends this consistently. Like, if you ever like, I don't want Maria, just tell me. Please, just tell me because I understand. And he makes fun of me because he thinks that I'm joking. He's like, why would I ever do that? I know the science. Please. I'm not kidding. I won't be offended. I will give you a break from me. You just tell me and I will give you a break. Okay? Okay, good. So that's okay. I'm okay with needing to move into my own little area so that you don't have to feel my energy. Facing change as self-agents, it is welcome. That's why there's no stress, there's no drama. Twin flame, 1, 2, 3. I got to mentally, emotionally, and then physically master. And I knew by the third, I'm physically mastering. Now I'm a physical master, and I'm still mastering with my mom and my twin, the 3-year-old me. Other than that, I don't have a challenger, because the challenger is only if they can actually fly like an eagle in the sky. So they have to fly high. They have to be even more loving than I am. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not kidding with you all. And that's from the ventral vagal state. I'm not asking them to do something impossible. No, it's possible, like neuroscientists will let you know, to be in a flow state. So when you welcome challenges, unknowns, uncertainties, unexpected, unwanted from your open heart, yes, and go with the flow with the inner growth mindset, you get to be yourself mindfully with flaws, imperfections, the way that I've learned to share with you. I give you exercises. The main modules are for free on the website, the main website. And we see every single opportunity to build all of it. So let me read a couple. We build and enhance what is not only mental, emotional depth, but also mastery. So not aware. I already have awareness. I've been having awareness since I was a 3-year-old. I have self-respect, mastery of Maria, and I'm resilient in bringing forth the equanimous, discerning love that God is to me, that my mom was to me as I was growing up, and that I get to continue to be as life and relationships. They are not weighing me down, because if they have a hole, it's not mine. I know how to recalibrate Maria and her ventral energy, and the others can stay wherever they want. It's called I'm differentiating myself. I don't seek security outside myself. They don't need to pat me on the back. They don't get boring, even if they bring me their Cusco hands, because I'm used to it. I have Cusco squirrels. What is his face? Not that. I was going to say the wrong word. Sid. Yes, I was thinking of another word, but if ever I do meet low frequency people, yeah, that doesn't. That's why I told God, I don't see Lucifer. There's no Luciferian era. When this one dude said, you know what you're doing is dangerous, I'm like, what? I'm looking in your eyes. Do you know what the dark eyes means? It means they're wired shut in their dark sides of neuroplasticity, their fight response. They're withering away by the minute. I'm in the presence of a person who's in their modulated. That's all this is. They can't run as fast as I can because their dysregulated body is literally eating away at them. I don't know from what angle, but I know that there's plenty of them. They don't want to heal their inner child. I can't do anything. So I grow more loving and energized because Maria's using her ventral energy and all her child parts are fine. So I'm looking for the challenger. No, I'm not actually. I know how to lift anyone up from the ground when it comes to love, because love is supporting each other to fly and to lift each other up when we're down, and then to soar the skies with each other when we're up, and that it's always there. And you can't drag me, because I won't be able to actually still fly, meaning that at a certain point you're going to have to drop the balloon. You know what I mean? That's where nobody actually drags down somebody. That's why nobody can fuck with a person who's a whole 3-year-old, because suffering isn't something that's a real thing. Lack of educated people don't understand. They're using their temporal junction. Now, what I'm saying is the modulated body is in distress, not eustress. The brain is playing a ancient history from their first 3 years of life, if not their first 8. They're not mindful. They're full of flaws like I am, but they don't know that the more security you seek, the more disturbed you will be about every change that happens in your life. So they're actually trying to hang on to their last breath with something that they're not even consciously aware of. It's not fun. If you live in suspicion, always thinking everyone is out to get you, you will only do very small things in life. Trust is very important. I don't pay much attention to those who are insecure, because I met teenagers that were insecure, and I do know life is not a race. It is a phenomenon. Thank you, Sadhguru. I'm reading some of his quotes. Also, you are just a speck of dust in the universe. If you understand the context of your existence, you will naturally become silent, and I'm silent inside because I'm imperfect like everybody else. And then I also know that every situation is an opportunity to either harvest my well-being, which I do because I differentiate ventral vagal state, or suffering. I don't do that. It is my choice. Those who choose to have attachment flares come up and then project it, it's their choice. Again, it's okay. They're not half safe. I'll just notice their Cusco hand. And so by the time they're done showing to me every one of their hands, I just know that they're not wanting to move into what is that which is a lover. And so suffering life, not needed, but those who do, again, we won't be trying to tell them to have to move to the 5D frequency. And that's because it's not really nice to try and tell people what to do with their life. I know that teenagers talked sense into me when they said, you tell us what to do, but you don't do it. So we know that Sylvester Stallone has some really awesome quotes. I am not the richest, smartest, or most talented person in the world, but I succeed because I keep going and going and going. And when you do that with your ventral vagal state, you're not in distress. So going and going and going is not the doer, which is a childhood trauma personality type that needs Patrick Chan. Okay, and on the outside, again, no one will notice. I notice the difference because the small frequency doer is not waking up energized, invigorated, and ready for more life and more relationships and more and more. No, they're ready for small. And here's where I believe there's an inner power that makes winners or losers, and the winners are the ones who really listen to the truth of their hearts. Sly Stallone. So again, thank you, Sylvester. Yes, the winners are the ones who choose to do their ventral vagal state. The winners are the ones who choose to work with somebody who can help them if their window of tolerance is not big with affect and stuff like that. So rigidity and chaos are not fun. It's not the well-being of a person, which is why I love learning from smart people. Suffering life is not fun. Those who use cliche sentences, if they use the words of any wisdom to become enlightened ones, you will notice. Though, FYI, enlightenment soul age group is different than the spirituality soul age group. You know what? We're going to have another episode. I'm going to talk to you about those soul age groups again. That way, if you're curious, come back around. And if not, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And we'll be back again.